There is a particular kind of silence that only one sign in the zodiac seems to master. And it's not the silence of someone who has, nothing to say, but it is the silence of someone who has everything to say and has quietly decided you have not earned it yet. Ask a Scorpio how they feel about something that actually matters to them, and watch what happens. Believe me when I say that it's not a lie, since Scorpios rarely lie, and that's actually the first thing people get wrong about them. Something stranger happens instead. A redirect, a joke, a question thrown back at you, so smoothly you don't notice you never got your answer. And honestly, people call this mysterious, guarded, manipulative, even if they're feeling uncharitable that day. But almost nobody stops to ask the actual question underneath all of that. What is a Scorpio protecting? Let's find that together. So, to get anywhere close to an answer, you have to go back further than most zodiac videos bother to go. And that is not a list of traits. You have to go to the sky itself, and to a story the Greeks kept retelling about a hunter who genuinely believed he was untouchable. His name was Orion, and by most accounts, he believed exactly what powerful, admired people tend to believe about themselves, that no threat could possibly be his size. Some versions of the myth say he boasted he could kill every animal on Earth. Others say his arrogance was aimed at the gods themselves. The details shift depending on who's telling it, and honestly, that shifting is the tell. This was never really a story about one man's ego. It was a warning the Greeks kept reshaping and retelling, because the danger it described never quite went away. So the Earth answered him with something small, not a rival hunter, not even a monster built for a fair fight. A scorpion, low to the ground, almost invisible, patient in a way nothing that size should be able to afford. It didn't chase Orion. It didn't need to. It waited for him to be exactly where he already was, confident, exposed. And it struck once. He never saw it coming, for all his size. And here is the detail almost every retelling skips past. The gods placed both of them in the sky afterward, but not next to each other. Orion and Scorpius sit on opposite sides of the heavens, and when one rises, the other sets. That detail isn't just a poetic flourish someone added later. It shows up in Hyginus, one of the oldest surviving texts that actually mapped why certain constellations sit where they do. The two of them are never visible at the same time. Even in death, Orion still isn't allowed anywhere near the thing that beat him. That image, something small, watchful, and unbeatable once it finally decides to move. That's not really a coincidence, and it's not really about a scorpion at all. It's the emotional blueprint sitting underneath every Scorpio you've ever met. Because the myth was never really about a scorpion killing a hunter. It was about power that doesn't announce itself. Power that wins by knowing exactly when to stay hidden and exactly when not to. There's a name for this in psychology, even if it's a lot less poetic than the myth. Attachment researchers describe a hypervigilant pattern, one that tends to form early, often in people who learned, long before they had words for it, that visible feeling was a liability. Maybe openness was met with mockery once. Maybe vulnerability was used against them, even a single time, by someone who was supposed to be safe. The nervous system doesn't need many repetitions to learn a lesson like that. Sometimes it only needs one. So it adapts. It builds a filter. And not to shut feeling off, because remember, Scorpios feel more than almost anyone in the zodiac, not less. The filter exists to control when the feeling becomes visible. And to who? This is the part most descriptions of Scorpio get backward. They call it secrecy. And oh boy, let me tell you, it isn't. Secrecy is passive. something withheld out of fear or habit. What a Scorpio does is closer to triage, a constant, mostly unconscious calculation running in the background. Is this person safe enough to see what's actually happening in here? And if the answer is no, or even just unclear, the door doesn't slam shut, it just never opens in the first place. You won't even notice it was there. Here's where it gets more interesting than Scorpios are private people, which is the sentence every astrology video eventually collapses into, because the same instinct that protects a Scorpio from being hurt is the exact instinct that can quietly hollow out the relationships they actually want to keep. Trust, for most people, is built through small, unremarkable exposures. You mention you had a bad day. Someone asks a follow-up question. Nothing happens. No punishment, no exploitation. And your nervous system logs that as evidence. This person is safe. Do that enough times with enough people, and eventually trust becomes almost automatic. Background noise you don't even think about anymore. But if the filter never lets those small exposures happen, that evidence never accumulates. Not because the people around a Scorpio aren't safe. Often they are. The problem is that safety can only be proven through exposure. And the very system built to prevent harm is the same system preventing the proof from ever arriving. Which means the guard doesn't just fail to notice when a relationship becomes safe, it has almost no mechanism for finding out. That's the quiet tragedy underneath the myth. The Scorpion won. It genuinely defeated something that could have destroyed it. But it was built for exactly one encounter, a single decisive strike against a singular threat. It was never built for the slower, riskier, far less glamorous work of letting someone close again and again until they've actually earned it. There's a second layer to this myth that most retellings leave out completely, and honestly, it might be the more important one. In some versions of the story, it's Artemis who sends the Scorpion, not out of duty, but out of grief. She and Orion were close enough that other gods started intervening before it could become something more. Her brother Apollo, so the story goes, grew uneasy watching that closeness, and either tricked her into killing Orion herself, or arranged the Scorpion's strike so she'd carry the loss forever either way. If that version is the true one, then this myth was never really about a monster defeating a hunter. It's about someone who loved deeply. Watched that love get twisted into a weapon aimed back at her, and was left holding the death of the one person she'd actually let close enough to matter. That's the version worth sitting with for a minute, not power for its own sake. Power built in direct response to a specific devastating betrayal. The kind that teaches you closeness itself can be turned into a trap by people who are never actually on your side to begin with. If you know a Scorpio, this reframes almost everything about how they show love, because it rarely looks like what you'd expect from someone this intense. It looks like memory. The exact way you take your coffee, mentioned once, 8 months ago, and never forgotten. It looks like showing up for the unglamorous crisis, the one at 2 in the morning that nobody photographs, while staying almost entirely silent about their own. It looks like loyalty offered before it's earned, as a kind of test disguised as a generosity. I will go first, so you don't have to risk going first. What it almost never looks like is the sentence you're actually waiting to hear. And if you're a Scorpio watching this, the myth offers something the psychology alone can't quite give you. Not an instruction to just drop your guard. That instinct kept something in you alive for a reason. A narrower, more honest question instead. Not should I let my guard down? More like, is there anyone in my life who's already, quietly, earned the chance to see behind it? Because the sting was never actually the problem. The sting is exactly what a Scorpio should still be capable of when it's genuinely warranted. The problem only shows up when it fires at everyone. including the people who were never trying to be Orion or Apollo at all. If you've ever loved a Scorpio or been one, you already know how rarely anyone explains it like this. That's what Luna Zodiac is for. Not another list of traits, but the story underneath them. If this one landed, subscribe and hit the bell icon so the next sign doesn't just show up in your feed by chance. And if you know exactly which Scorpio you thought of while watching this, tell them. Or tell me in the comments. I read and reply to every one of them. Until the next one, bye.